and welcome to our first yoga class of our program called Soulful Alignment. Today we will be doing a 30-minute Yin Yoga class. It is a very grounding practice, something to make you come back to your body and just taking the time to slow down and really just find a moment of peace and to feel really grounded within yourself. Because I think grounding is very important for you to continue through the program. My name is Mathilde, and I will guide you through this very slow practice today. So now make yourself comfortable. I am seating on a blanket, so I invite you perhaps to do the same thing. Grab a block if you have. If you don't have one, a thick book will do. And of course, have your mat. But if you don't have a mat, that's also okay to practice without. So come to a comfortable seat and really come to a cross-legged. If cross-legged feels a bit uncomfortable, you can bring the sole of the feet together. Ideally, we want to be cross-legged, standing tall in the spine, the blanket underneath the sit bones. And once you've found your comfortable space, we will come to close the eyes. So first we will notice how we stand in our pose. Are we a bit slouched maybe? Are we falling onto one side? Try to see if you can come to stand really nice and long in the spine. Having your head really standing proud, almost as if a thread is pulling your head from the ceiling. Your hands are resting onto your thighs, and you can close the eyes here if you haven't done that already. Really take the time here to land into the space and to start our practice today. Firstly, pay attention to how the body feels right now. Notice any tension you may have standing in this position without judging or anything, just observing how the body feels. Now pay attention to the noises around you. Perhaps you can hear the noise of the street. Maybe someone next door into your house is maybe cooking or doing some noises in the background. Whatever you can hear, just pay attention. I can hear the birds outside, and it's quite nice to realize that spring is around the corner. Now observe what you can feel from the external world. Perhaps the temperature of the room. Maybe you can feel your hands on your legs. Maybe you can feel the fabric of the clothes you're wearing. Just pay attention to what you can sense. Now, still with the eyes closed, we will start coming inwards and pay attention to our breath. Without changing your breath quite yet, we will just observe how we're breathing today. The breath is a wonderful indicator of how we feel. It gives a lot of clue about the state of our nervous system. It gives a lot of clues of how we feel and where we hold our tensions, our emotions. So pay attention to where and how you're breathing in this moment. We will start deep in the breath together. Let's take a big inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, let it go. And we'll continue to take a few deep breaths to really calm the body and the mind, really just focusing on the breath. Continue to inhale through the nostrils, filling up the abdomen and then the chest with new air. And when we exhale, we will exhale through the mouth, softening the face, softening the shoulders, allowing the tension to start melting away. Inhale deeply through the nostril, feeling the air coming through, filling up the body with new energy. And exhaling through the mouth, slightly engaging our abdominal muscles to take the air away. Do that for another 3 rounds of breath, following your own breath, inhaling deeply into the nose, into the body, exhaling through the mouth, letting it go, letting it soften. 2 more breaths here. Exhale slowly through the mouth. One last breath in together. Let's make it as deep as possible. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling, letting it go. And from here we will gently flutter the eyes open. You can move the blanket off to the side and we'll come into a tabletop. The wrists are slightly forwards from the shoulders, ever so slightly. The knees are slightly behind the hips, and we'll find a neutral spine here. And first we'll inhale, so we'll do a few rounds of cat-cow. So we'll inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, the back naturally arches. And on exhale, we'll push the mat away, get a good grip on the mat, keeping the arms straight, rounding the spine, gazing through the thighs. I invite you to really close the eyes, to really embody the experience and feeling how connecting breath and movement feels in the body. Inhale, gaze forward, drop the belly. Exhale, round the spine, round the head in. And we'll follow the breath, keeping the eyes closed. Following each step of your breath. Exhale, round the spine, keeping the arms straight, gazing through the thighs. Inhaling forward. Lifting the gaze, dropping the belly. Exhale, round the spine, feeling every vertebrae of your back. And we'll take 3 more rounds like this. Really taking the time to decompose each movement. Following the breath and going as slow as you can. One last round of breath. Inhale forward. Gaze lifts. Belly drops. Exhale, round the spine. Gaze between the thighs. And after your exhale, just come back to a neutral tabletop. And we'll open up the knees a bit wider. The knees are pointing outwards and the big toes are coming to touch the back. And we'll slowly push the sit bones towards the heels. Come and sit on them as much as we can. The hands and arms staying overhead. And the forehead comes to touch the floor if possible. Otherwise, you can place a wee block underneath it to give you support. And we'll come to rest the forearms onto the mat. Into Balasana, our child's pose. And here we will cultivate our pelvic breathing. Really finding our breath as low as we can into the body. Close the eyes to really internalize once again this experience of the breath. We will inhale, filling up the stomach with air. Noticing your stomach touching the thighs as you inflate the belly. And on exhale, engage your abdominal muscles and your pelvic floor muscles ever so subtly to get the air out of the stomach. We'll inhale, fill up the body with air. And exhaling, engaging those muscles into your abdomen to push the air out through the mouth. And we'll continue to do this here for maybe a couple of minutes, really slowing down, really feeling heavy into the mat, grounding ourselves fully in this position of child's pose, grounding ourselves into the comfort of Balasana with a big focus on the breath. Inhaling through the nose, filling up the stomach with air. Exhaling through the mouth, engaging your core to help push the air out. Allowing a bit more space to be created with each exhale. Now gently follow your breath and keep your awareness on your breath and just the experience of what the breath gives to your body. Sensation of wholeness and spaciousness. Allowing yourself to sink in a little bit deeper into the hips. And we'll take 3 more breaths in here, as slow as you can. Always engage in the core as you exhale. 2 more breaths here. Exhaling through the mouth. And one last inhale in as deep as you can. Exhale it all out. For our next movement, we'll inhale and flow forward back into a tabletop very gently. The eyes can remain closed if that feels good. And we'll just do maybe circles with the body, taking a moment to internalize this experience of breathing. Internalizing this experience of resting in child's pose, a very grounding pose. We'll come back to a neutral spine and we'll tug the toes under. Maybe bringing the hands a bit forwards as we're going to come into our downward facing dog. So with the help of our feet, we'll push ourselves up, sending the hips to the sky, keeping a generous bend in the knee as the focus here is to really make the spine nice and long. Keep the eyes closed and we'll take a nice deep inhale in. Exhale out. Maybe walk one leg at a time here, just to have a feel for your arm strings, have a feel for your hips. Take your time, there is no rush. And here we'll inflate and inhale the right leg to the sky, not very high, but just engaging that leg, bending at the knee here. Inhale in, and on exhale, bring the knee forward, allowing the foot to step towards the top of the mat, in between the hands if you can. And once you're here, Just drop the knee to the floor, coming into a low lunge. We will find a short dragon here, finding a bit of space in the hips. So you're going to bring your right hand inside of the right foot so that both hands are together and the right foot is outside of the mat. And here we'll take a few movements, maybe forward and backwards, straightening the front leg, straightening the back leg, and maybe taking circles. You can open the right knee towards the outside just to test it out here, test it there, without collapsing into the hips or the shoulders onto the left side. Really finding a space here where you can be on the edge of getting a nice stretch, but somewhere where it's sustainable to stay for a minute or so to be able to breathe. So here, let's find stillness. And if you need your block or the book, whatever, just come and place it underneath your hands. And you can stay here, the arms being nice straight next to the right leg. Or if you have the space, maybe open up the right knee to the side and come onto the forearms. Just see what feels good and sustainable for you. If this feels too hard and you know that you will get out of it after 10 seconds, you're better off being here and allow gravity to help you sink a bit deeper into the pose as we get through it. We will stay here and really bring all of our awareness into the left inner thigh and the left hip, allowing it to get a nice stretch. And if you find it a bit hard on your knee, you can place a blanket underneath it to support your knee, or if you have any injuries. The neck is not tense, it's just prolongation of our spine. And we can close the eyes here and we'll focus all of our awareness onto the breath. Inhaling and exhaling slowly to indicate the body that this is a challenge, but you can remain calm throughout it. And you will have thoughts coming and going. Just witness them without any attachment. We'll take another 3 breaths in here, as deeply and slowly as you possibly can. Continuing to inhale through the nostrils and exhale through the mouth. Take one last breath in. Exhale it all out. Now, if you have the block or the book underneath your hands or your forearms, if you're on the forearms, just come back up to the hands and then move the hands away from the block and push it onto the side. From here, we'll send the hips back to be able to send the right leg back and come into a child's pose here for just a brief moment to maybe calm the breath and allow the hip to rest for a moment. We'll inhale forwards back into tabletop. And we'll tuck the toes under, push ourselves back into downward facing dog. Here, bend one leg at a time and have a feel. Just notice how that hip feels in comparison to the other one and in comparison to before. You might feel that it's a little looser, maybe, that there's a little bit more space. We'll find stillness here and we'll take one clearing breath. Inhale in. Exhale out. And here we'll inhale and inflate the left leg up to the sky this time. Toes are pointing down. We'll inhale here. Bend at the knee and float the knee forward to bring the foot between the hands or as close as you can. Coming a bit forward here. Dropping the right knee to the floor and bringing the left hand inside of the left leg this time. So both hands are together and the left leg and the left foot is outside of the mat. And here we'll do the same as together. You'll have a different feel for sure. We're not symmetrical human beings. So just do forwards and backwards movements, feeling for your hips on this side, maybe taking any circular movements, really taking the time to maybe open up the left knee to the side. See what feels good on that side. There's no judgment to have. Now we'll find our edge, that wee space where we get a stretch yet can sustain staying in that position. So bring the block back in if you need it. Maybe you'll be able to go on your forearm on this side, maybe not. Just see, and don't judge yourself for it. It's absolutely fine wherever you are. And once you're ready, we'll just stay here and we'll take a few deep and slow breaths. Closing the eyes here again. Really taking the time to follow the breath and focus onto the breath. Inhaling through the nostril and exhaling through the mouth, nice and slowly. Don't forget that you can place a blanket underneath the right knee if you need to. Closing the eyes and allowing ourselves to find comfort into a challenge. Finding stillness into something that might feel really uncomfortable. And allowing the body to remain still and just breathe through that challenge. Teaching the body and the mind to work together on that. And that's the kind of challenge that will translate into your life off the mat. We'll take 3 deep breaths in here. You can do this. Inhale through the nose. Exhale slowly through the mouth. 2 more breaths in. Exhale out. And 1 last breath in here. And exhale, you've made it. So we'll slowly rise to the hands if we were onto the forearms. Push the block onto the sides. And we push ourselves slightly back to bring the left leg back next to the right. And we'll send the hips to the heels back into child's pose. Taking just a moment to rest here. Settling the breath maybe. Settling the heart rate. We'll take a clearing inhale and exhale here. And we'll inflate forward into tabletop once again. Taking a big inhale here. Exhale out. Now we'll grab a hold of our blanket, keeping the pillow nearby as we will need it later. You can fold it nicely and we'll come into a butterfly position. So it is seated with the sole of the feet together, just like the modification I offered at the start of this class. So finding a comfortable space here, bringing the sole of the feet together. The heels can be as close to your inner thigh as you want it. Some people may not anatomically be able to do this, and that's totally fine. So you may want to have your feet a bit further away from yourself. The knees are open up to the side. So wherever you are, grab a hold of your feet. And we'll take a few flaps with the knees, just like a butterfly. Flapping the knees away. Standing tall in the spine, having the arms nice and straight. And just having the knees going up and down. This can be a bit slower, a bit faster. Just take a moment to notice how that feels onto the hips. Closing the eyes. As we will settle down just in a moment into this pose and go a little bit deeper. Take a big inhale in together. And exhale out. Now you can stop the movement of the knees. We will really grab a hold of our feet here. We'll stand tall in the spine, inhale. And on exhale, we'll hinge forward from the hips, finding a space where you can feel a stretch. This may be as low or as high as you want. It doesn't have to be completely low. And once you find that space, you can allow maybe yourself to bring the hands forward and round the upper spine, allowing the head and the neck to be heavy here. And really sinking down, feeling the stretch into the inner thighs. And even if you're not that far down, allow gravity to do the work as you breathe in and out, creating space. Cultivate a sense of patience. Get deeper into this pose. Really allowing yourself to just rest in this butterfly pose. Sinking slowly deeper as you exhale and soften the body. Taking nice and long breath. The neck and the head are falling heavy. Really take your time here to notice every single sensation without judging them, and allowing your thoughts to come and go, just like passing clouds in the sky. Cultivating a sense of stillness into this pose as you sink a bit lower. We'll take another 3 breaths in here, not rushing the breath in any way. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. 2 more breaths like this. And 1 last breath in. Exhale out. Now using your hands to help you push yourself back up here. And before we move, we'll come and place the hands, the palm of the hands underneath the knees, and really help our legs to come back up again. We will push the blanket off the mat to the side, keeping it closed as we will need it shortly for our Shavasana. But we will grab a hold of the block here. So you may want to have a book, a solid book, something that will maintain you, as we're going to come into a supported bridge as our last pose before our relaxation. So we'll come lay down onto our back, the knees are pointed to the ceiling, the hands are onto the side, palms are facing down. We'll take an inhale here and exhale out. And on our next inhale, grab a hold of the block. We'll inhale the hips towards the sky, and we'll come to place the block underneath the sacrum, which is the lower part of your back, just on top of your glutes. And we'll come to rest the sacrum on top of the block, relaxing our weight into the block here as we are supported. The heels can come a bit closer to the block and the hands are resting down. Just come to close the eyes here. We'll inhale the arms up and over the head. Exhale the arms down. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale, arms up and overhead onto the mat. Exhale, lower the hands down, palms down. One last time. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, palms lower down to the floor. And here we'll find stillness and heaviness into our resting bridge. Setu Bandhasana is a great way to open the heart as we focus the breath into the upper body now, into the diaphragm and to the chest. Inhale. Exhale out, sink a bit deeper. And we'll take 3 more breaths in here. Inhaling slowly into the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Inhale again. Exhale out. One last inhale in. Exhale out, soften the shoulders into the mat. And on our next inhale, we'll rise the hips up and we'll push the block onto the side. Maybe grabbing our blanket or a pillow or anything that you need to make your Shavasana comfortable. Really make ourselves nice and cozy. Allowing yourself to come into this final rest, laying down on the back, and covering yourself with anything that you need. The arms and the hands are alongside the body. And we'll maybe find a few last wiggle here, settling down into our final pose. You're more than welcome to stay in for a lot longer than the class allows. Allowing yourself to abandon any conscious control of the breath and allowing it to come back to its more natural rhythm. Noticing the rise and fall of your navel as you breathe in and out. Giving yourself permission to fully rest into this pose. Shavasana is not the pose where we do nothing. A lot happen in this pose, and a lot of people can be very uncomfortable staying in it. Because in this pose we rest, we allow ourselves to just be whole and relaxed. The thoughts may still come and go, but allow them to just float around without bringing any attachment to it. Emotions, memories, feelings, sensation may also arise, and that's okay. Allow yourself to observe and witness what comes up. It's a space where you can become an observer of your own self, slowing down and resting. Bring your attention to your breath again. You're more than welcome to stay here for a little bit longer. Otherwise, just start deepening the breath. Slowly coming back to the body, wiggling the toes and the fingers. And when you're ready, you can maybe bring the arms overhead, giving yourself a big morning stretch. You can roll onto one side, using your forearms as a wee pillow. And then you can keep the eyes closed and come back to a seated, cross-legged seated position. We will stand again really tall in the spine. The hands are rested on the knees for a moment. Take a big inhale in. Exhale out. Bringing the hands at prayer in front of the heart. And bowing your head in reverence of all that you are and all that your body allows you to do. Thank you for practicing with me for week 1, and I will see you again very soon. Namaste.